That's right, get that Ziltex. He says my YouTube channel is past its prime. Show him what you think, puppy. Oh, shit.
Now to talk about some gaming news. Shenmue 3 teases a new character and announced a partnership with, wow, I can't even say that, Lockshare Digital. Lockshare has worked with Bloodborne, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and The Sea of Thieves. Following a very successful Kickstarter campaign in mid-2015, which, I think they got like $3 million or something for that. I had no money at the time to donate to it, unfortunately. So it means I have to wait till it comes out to get a normal copy. Boo-hoo, first world problems. YSNet has spent the last 2.5 years slowly but steadily developing Shenmue 3. In August this year, the developer announced a publishing deal with Deep Silver, and it's now revealed the partnership with the game's art studio, Lockshare Digital. I guess they'll take part in the art direction and in the character production of Shenmue 3 moving forward. So this is another partnership that will boost the staff of Shenmue 3, and this could lead to a better product, in all honesty. I'm for that, let's just say, because the first trailer they released recently, the characters look kinda weird, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but the Shenmue trailer they released recently, the characters look lifeless and odd, like weird little dolls. I'd almost rather play on the Shenmue engine from the Dreamcast. I felt the characters look better. That's me personally, I'm sure other people would disagree. They show off the character in this little screenshot, and that's all you get. Did they even give you her name and background? No. So basically you look at the pagodas behind her and you assume she's like some sort of person that takes care of shrines. Maybe she's a monk of some sort. Maybe a priestess. Did they still? No, they couldn't have had priestess still in. No, maybe they did. It was the 80s. You know, they could still have priestess in the 80s because that's when Shenmue was set. Because we still had like a priest in the 80s. Now look at everything. How many priests do you run into now? Like none. There's so few motherfuckers that want to be priests now. Why would you? Drugs, pornography, video games, women. There's just so many options of shit to do. Men, if you're into it. There's some people who like to hump chairs. There's just so much you can do now. And there's forms for everything.
I'm thinking, oh geez, you know what I'm thinking about. This is very personal. When I make love to him at home, when I start climaxing, I just keep saying over and over again, just as I'm starting to go over the edge, I just tell him, I want your fluids, I want your fluids, I want your fluids. You smell good. God, you smell so good.
What the fuck is going on there?
So, it makes sense. You know, my thought process as to why there's no priests now. But in the 80s, there were tons of priests, and I'm sure China or Japan had monks and priestess still. Fuck you, Gundam. You SJW. I'm just letting you know that's what I think of you. Crytek sues Star Citizen over a breach of contract and copyright infringement. Crytek alleges that Cloud Imperium got a cut rate deal on its technology and then froze it out. If you remember correctly, Star Citizen did start with Crytek and everything they wanted to do, which is weird. You know, I don't know why they didn't go with Unreal 4, but the guy who fucking heads it, I can't remember his name, Robert Smeagol or something. That's not his name. Well, I'm not gonna look it up. I don't give a shit enough. So anyway, he came out and said, oh, Unreal Engine 4, it's a little too new. We wanted to go with something that's more established or some bullshit like that. I thought it was an odd choice considering what they were talking about, what they wanted to do with Star Citizen seemed far too ambitious for the Crytek engine. Granted, Crytek is beautiful, but still. So essentially, they had to kind of rebuild the engine to fit their purposes, which ate up a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources, so on and so forth. Then after a while, all of a sudden, Cloud Imperium signed a deal with Amazon, and I think it has something to do with Amazon servers. And as I stated before, someone who works in the game industry talked about a possibility of microtransactions to me, but you know, leave that for another day. So anyway, I guess they did kind of cut out Crytek, but they kind of got balls considering Star Citizen did hire a lot of people Crytek didn't pay for like 6 fucking months, and they pretty much had no jobs, so Star Citizen just took them on as employees. So it's kind of a dick move on Crytek's end from that perspective. Crytek filed a lawsuit against Cloud Imperium Gaming over the use of the Crytek engine technologies for Star Citizens. Allegedly, Crytek's licensed the engine to CGI, Cloud Imperium Gaming, at a low below market rate in exchange for prominent display of its trademarks in Star Citizen. That's no longer happening because the game is now running Amazon's Lumberyard, which in and of itself is a version of CryEngine. But the problem actually started well before that. Defendants knew Crytek's right to display its trademark and copyright notices in the Star Citizen video game and related marketing materials was a critical component of the GLA, Gaming Licensing Agreement. Yet by at least September 24th of 2016, defendants' co-founders Chris Roberts publicly sought to minimize Crytek's contribution to Star Citizen, stating that we don't call the video game engine CryEngine anymore. We call it Star Engine. The suit states. Shortly thereafter, defendants removed the Crytek trademarks and copyright notices from Star Citizen's video game and related marketing materials in breach of GLA, the Gaming Licensing Agreement. It just really never ends with Star Citizen, you know? Every time you turn around, something's going on. 3.0 is delayed, blah blah blah. Optimizations issues, but I guess technically this shit isn't even an alpha yet. Not paying bills, taking out loans. Now a lawsuit over CryEngine. It's seeming like a whole big mess. I hope that Star Citizen comes out because it would be a very ambitious game for the gaming industry. And it might actually usher in about change. Something we could really use because things are so very stagnant. I mean, right now we live in a world with nothing but AAAs and re-releases and remasters, HD remasters, re-envisionings, reimaginings. Oh my god. Every time you turn around, sequels out the asshole, 1 billion sequels, 4 different prequels, and if Star Citizen doesn't come out, everybody will just make fun of everyone who supported the game, including me. Oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. We are aware of Crytek's complaint having been filed in the U.S. District Court. Cloud Imperium Games said in a statement. Cloud Imperium Games hasn't used a CryEngine for quite some time since we switched to Amazon's Lumberyard. This is a meritless lawsuit that we will defend vigorously against, including recovering from Crytek at any cost incurred in this matter. Yay, I guess. In the end, the fuck does it matter? Star Citizen's almost becoming a meme. Bad Chuchi. Stop hitting the microphone. Chuchi, where's your mommy? Oh, that was cold. I can see it in her little brown eyes. That was cold. I'm sorry, Chuchi. Go run and play, Chuchi. Crytek's lawsuit alleges a breach of contract and copyright infringement, and seeks the damages that it believes substantially exceed $75,000, along with the usual blend of punitive damages. $75,000 doesn't seem like much. I mean, it seems like a drop in the pan compared to how much Star Citizen made from donations anyway. I mean, fucking hey, what's... It seems stupid. And what's weirder is Cloud Imperium Games are going to fight for that $75,000. I mean, for a company that built like a slide door in their damn office for no fucking reason, you'd think $75,000 would just be like, here's the money, go fuck yourself, and be done with it. I mean, that would be my move if I had that sort of money to just get rid of dumbasses. Like, you're not even worth it. Get the fuck out of here. Take your chump change. Get out of here. Cemu 1.11.2 is released on the 7th of December to Patreon supporters. For those who don't know, which would probably be very few, Cemu is a Wii U emulator for the PC. The newest version is, all the new versions always go to Patreon supporters first. And from what I can tell you right now is, it got really popular for 5 minutes because you could play Zelda at 4K 60 if you had the rig to make it happen. I haven't really gotten around to downloading it and playing it due to not having that sort of time on my hands. I would really be interested in checking it out. And for those of you who do have time in your hands, do have a PC that could probably run this shit, and don't want to buy a Wii U, or what's that portable one that's really popular? I was about to call it Wii on the Go, but I know that's not right. Switch, that's it. For those of you who don't want to buy a Switch, this might be the option to go in. I mean, shit. For Zelda 4K 60? You can't even do that on the console. I say, cool beans, dude. Oh, fuck off, Smokey. For God's sakes, the puppy just came for the damn toy. Get out of here! Get out of here! I had to scare him off with the squeaky. Alright, for those of you who don't know, today's the last day you can get Company of Heroes 2 for free on Humble Bundle. So, hop, skip, and jump over there. Free games, dude. Come on. That's the one thing I never got on my console experience. This many free games this fucking awesome. I mean, often. You get this, so many fucking free games now, I can't even play them. It's like I just get the key, and then I save it, and I'm like, okay, later on, when I'm finally have nothing to do, I'm gonna check this out. Speaking of Steam related stuff, Valve is ending support for Steam purchases with Bitcoin. This happened about a week ago. Steam is no longer supporting Bitcoin payments. Valve blames transaction fees. Valve said in a post on Steam, in the past few months, we've seen an increase in the volatility in the value of Bitcoin and a significant increase in the fees to process transactions on Bitcoin network. The company continued, for example, transaction fees that are charged to the customer by Bitcoin network have skyrocketed this year, topping out to close to $20 a transaction last week compared to roughly 20 cents when we initially enabled Bitcoin. Unfortunately, Valve has no control over the amount of fees. These fees result in unreasonably high costs for purchasing games when paying with Bitcoin. The high transaction fees cause even greater problems when the value of Bitcoin itself drops dramatically. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a drop in there's no drop in sight right now. Bitcoin's going insane. Surely there will be a drop because it usually happens, but I don't fuck it. It'll probably be like tiny. Like, oh, Bitcoin lost $500 of value today after reaching $100,000. Okay, here's how it goes. Valve also added, when checking out in Steam, a customer will transfer X amount of Bitcoin for the cost of the game, plus Y amount of Bitcoin to cover the transaction fee charges by Bitcoin network. The value of Bitcoin is only guaranteed for a certain period of time. So if the transaction doesn't complete within a window of time, then the amount of Bitcoin needed to cover the transaction can change. The amount it can change has been increasing recently to the point of where it can be significantly different. So it makes perfect sense why Valve would stop doing this, considering Bitcoin is just skyrocketing. I knew it would happen. The second like one of those banks were like, oh, yes, we're kind of interested in Bitcoin, the shit just blew up. It was the same bank that said, wasn't it Key Bank or something that said Bitcoin was a foolish blah 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 and anyone who tries to use it is an idiot. And then like a month or two later they come out and go, oh yes, it seems like a good investment, and then boom, whatever, fuck everything, it's all goofy. And on that note, I should just get the hell out of here because none of this really matters. Anyone can see, nothing really matters to me, as Freddie Mercury once said. Rate, comment, subscribe if you so choose to. If not, to hell with it. That weird sound in the background is the sound of a puppy destroying her bed. Oh my sweet God. If you ever date a woman, no, please don't do that. If you date a woman, like if you're not married to a woman and she goes, let's get an animal, let's get a pet, just say no. Just say no. Just like drugs. Except the difference is with drugs, you know, it doesn't come to live with you and then rip shit to pieces. Why the fuck is a dog destroying his bed? Can I finish this? Go fuck off, puppy. Rate, comment, subscribe if you so choose to. If not, to hell, for this perfectly fine by me.